I grew up with the swastika. In fact, swastika is a Sanskrit word, and the symbol is used in several Indic faiths to be the harbinger of well being. I also grew up in a country where Jews lived alongside Indic faiths that hold the swastika in high regard. It wasn't until I moved to Europe that I realized how many misconceptions there were around this symbol. For starters, the swastika I have always seen looks considerably different from the symbol on the Nazi flag. So when I looked into the two symbols, I realized that Hitler never used the swastika at all. The symbol he used was the Hakenkreuz or hooked cross. It wasn't until later translations of the Mein Kampf into English that Hakenkreuz was mistranslated to swastika. Swastika is a Sanskrit word that is a combination of su, meaning good, and asti, meaning to exist. The symbol is considered auspicious by followers of many Indic faiths, such as the Hindus, Buddhists, and Jains. The Hakenkreuz, which literally translates to hooked cross, was commonly used for a long time in Christian iconography before the rise of the Nazi ideology, which associated it with the master race they considered superior to everyone. The swastika has often been described as soft and upright, unlike the angled and much harder looking Hakenkreuz. But the hooked cross symbol, which too did not have any racist or supremacist connotations till the rise of the Nazi ideology, exists in many forms, some more like the swastika than others. There is a long history behind why Hitler chose to use the Hakenkreuz, and an even longer history to the association of the word swastika with the hooked cross that dates back to 1872, when the archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann discovered the hooked cross symbol at the site of ancient Troy and later wrote about it in 1891. He then went on to connect it to similar symbols found on German pottery and misinterpreted it as a symbol that was important to their ancestors. Even back in 1880, German philologist and Orientalist Max Muller had warned Schliemann against using the word swastika for this symbol. He argued that using a word of Indian origin in a different cultural context is problematic, as people would assume that all such symbols come from India, and it will take some time to weed out that prejudice. The word swastika actually came to be associated with Nazi ideology when James Vincent Murphy first published his full English translation of the Mein Kampf in 1939. Despite making the choice to retain several German words that did not have a satisfactory English equivalent, he chose to translate the word Hakenkreuz to the Sanskrit swastika. This is also despite the fact that in an earlier translation, E.T.S. Dugdale had chosen to translate the word Hakenkreuz to the English phrase hooked cross. Why, one wonders, would someone translate a German word to a Sanskrit one when the target language is English? Some people argue that because James Murphy was a priest, his intention was to decouple the toxic ideology of the Nazi Party from the Christian cross. Whether that may have been his intention or not, it is certainly precipitated in the prejudice Max Muller had predicted as far back as 1880. When children are taught that the symbol of the Nazi Party is the swastika, followers of Indic faiths such as Hindus, Jains, and Buddhists become fearful of using a symbol they consider auspicious. It also opens members of these communities to potential bullying and attacks. While many have now begun to acknowledge that the swastika is an ancient symbol that was in use long before the Nazi Party or Hitler, I hope that in the future, when we teach our children about the Holocaust and Nazi ideology, we will use the word Hakenkreuz instead of swastika.